Before I start, I want to just remind you that this is one of many series that we run, career development workshops that we run. We do networking and using LinkedIn. We have sessions on conversations on preparing for interviews, how to craft really great CVs, generally and specifically for masters and PhD students, mastering applications for bursaries and scholarships. So do look out on the Career Services website under the banner of events, and then register. Oftentimes when you have these conversations, you recognize so many familiar names over and over. So what will we cover today? We're going to talk about a question that we get all the time from students, no matter which year they are in, students just starting off or students who have just finished. What are my options with my degree? What can we do? How to research these options. We're going to talk about what skills are generally and how they link to your options and ways in which you can think about developing your skills and where to think about where the opportunities are to develop those skills. So if you can just put in the chat what it is that your degree is and what it is you're studying, and what kind of role it is that you expect that you would want to take up when you are qualified. So just a minute for you to just post that in the chat so we can get a sense of what that looks like. So Henrik says MBAs, hoping to take up a senior management role, an executive management role in the future. That's great. Anyone else? Kakana says BSc in mechanical engineering and mechatronic engineering. Social science says Sadie. Melissa says also social science, majoring in psychology and politics. Quite a number of responses. We're going to do an exercise where we're going to look at what people studied and what it is, what careers they've chosen for themselves. So hold those comments and aspirations in the chat. Someone says, Hotso says, I'm studying a BA triple major in psychology. I've lost the chat. Triple major in psychology, sociology, media and writing. Wandisa says bachelor in business science, finance and accounting. So great. Natasha says business science and finance. Patience says accounting, chartered accounting. So some wonderful range of degrees and aspirations, which are very, very heartening to read and to know. So we've got an exercise for you, a matching exercise. So I'd like you to just have a look at column A and kind of take a guess. What, for example, Shelley, who has an MSc in conservation, and what it is she ended up in terms of a career. So just about 2 minutes. You can just write in the chat if you can say one. Shelley maybe have taken up a career in social media analyst, so you can say 1D, or you can say 3C for Refilwa. Just take some guesses. Just another invitation, please, to turn off your microphones. Thank you. So Hotso says Shelley is a data analyst in human resource at the HSRC. Hotso says again, Refilwa is a business analyst. Natasha says that Tito is a business analyst as well. Any other takers? Zephania says that Simpiwe is a data analyst. Donna says that Shelley is a Sustainable Agricultural Program Manager, WWF. Giseli says that Ridwan is a recruitment officer for Rhodes University. Melissa says Shelley is also a Sustainable and Agricultural Program Manager, WWF. And again, that Courtney is, let's just say Courtney, let's just have a look. Courtney is number 6. That Courtney is a junior brand manager for a cycling company. So some really great guesses there. Before we get to the answers, maybe some also ideas in the chat about what more would you have liked for you to be able to be absolutely sure about the choices that these people made, or where you have made a decision about what the choices they've made, what made you think they chose what the careers they chose. So just some ideas in the chat. What additional information would you have needed to be able to answer that question? Or alternatively, where you are very certain of your choice, what made you make that choice? Okay, Melissa says knowing their interests sort of helped greatly with answering. Absolutely. Please, can I invite you to switch off your microphone again, your microphones, thank you. So I'm going to put you out of your misery and start sharing so you can check your answer. And a high five to those who got it right. I'm getting some feedback in my ears. Can I ask you to just check that your microphones are switched off again, please? Thank you. So we've had a couple of answers where, sorry, was there a question? We've had some good guesses where Shelley was someone guessed, a number of you guessed that her role was a Sustainable Agricultural Program Manager with the WWF. Caletso, who was an actuarial science graduate, became a strategic advisor on the HIV for the World Health Organization. Rafilwe, a social media analyst. Noella, a program lead for the West African Vocational Education. Simpiwe, a recruitment officer for Rhodes University. Courtney, a junior brand manager for the cycling company. Tito, a business analyst, and Ridwan, a data analyst for the HSRC. So these are some of the ways or the areas in which or how we can all develop our skills. If we have a look at oftentimes we often get a question from students who say, I don't have experience, and so because I don't have any formal work experience, I don't have skills. But when we invite students to look over their life, what are the kind of things that they've done? What experiences have they had? They're able to very quickly start thinking, actually, you know what, I moved from, I don't know, 3 cities in the last 5 years. And so my life circumstances have enabled me to develop certain skills, or I've had certain hobbies, and as a result of that, I have been able to develop certain interests and certain skills, or I did some informal work and that enabled me to do certain things. And so these kinds of our experiences, our interests, our values shape the choices that we make in life with regard to the careers that we ultimately choose. And so just to give you feedback then, I'm going to put them all up. So Ridwan, Shelley and Courtney had particular work experiences that informed their decision. Ridwan, he worked in the bank, he had some bank experience, so, and his education in education informed his choice. So he chose a a career in research. Shelley herself, she did an internship at the the Wildlife Work, I forget, WWF, Worldwide Foundation, I think it is. I've got that wrong. But Shelley did an internship with the organization, and so that informed the decision to work there. Courtney worked in the cycling shop during a vacation, and so she became its brand manager. I'm just going to go to a couple here. Raphael Ware, she loved social media, and so she became a media analyst. And so you can then see that our interests, our work experiences, the research that we've done. Ridwan particularly did some research around different companies that you would like to work for, and then chose the bank. So all of these, all of our experiences, our hobbies, the skills that we have gained as a result of our qualifications inform the decisions that we make with regards to the careers that we choose ultimately. So what the exercise showed, just a couple of pointers, I guess, to extract, is that your qualification does not equal your career. So as you have written down in the chat, this is what I'm going to be qualified at the end of the day, and this is where I'm hoping to go, to bear in mind that the qualification does not equal a career, as we have seen demonstrated in the exercise. Skills are key and they are transferable. You would have seen people develop skills as a result of their education qualifications that they've used in seemingly diametrically opposite careers, and your skills and your experiences that you bring to bear on the career that you choose or the options that you consider draws on all the aspects of your life. And as we grow and develop, so do our skills, so do our interests, so do our options, and so do our values. And so the idea that we start off with a qualification, and we start at point A, and then we're going to end up at point B. Can I have an invitation just to check your microphones, please? I'm getting some feedback. Thank you. So as we grow and develop, so do our skills and our interests, and so we're likely to make many or several career changes throughout our life as our life changes and develops. And so look at where it is that you have developed the skills. Look at the entire spectrum of your life. When we do the workshops on careers, and we talk about, the workshop on CVs, we talk about what is the definition of a CV, and the definition of a CV is really your career over your entire life. Oftentimes we forget that we look at the span, all of our experiences over our entire life, and sometimes we forget we can tap into those to inform our skills and the options that then are available to us. So that was just a reminder again. So we're going to talk about career services resources specifically now, about how you can use the resources to answer the questions around what's available to me in terms of career options, firstly, and secondly, what are the skills that I might need, the skills that companies are looking for, and how can I identify that using career services resources. And the resources we are going to focus on are the career site, the UCT career site is indicated there, VULA's career service, which you access through the VULA homepage, and then My Career, which UCT students have access to, and this is not an open source site, so you have to use your credentials to enter it, and through that site you can book consultations, events, you can check out job advertisements. So this is what the career site look like. So if you go to the UCT site, you can check out identifying skills. If we're going to look at identifying skills, you see at the drop-down list, you go into students, there's a drop-down list that will bring up an item that says identifying skills. You click on that and there's a whole list of skills. And this is kind of what it looks like. It will start off that says, what are employability skills and how can I get employability skills? So it will give you information about how you might be able to do that, to answer the question about what skills do I have, what do the skills look like, and how can I develop them? So if you look further down the page, in terms of identifying the skills, you will see here that we have a list of them. I forget the count, I did count it at one particular point in time. So we have a list of all these skills, and if you click on those skills, they will have a definition. So if you look at adaptability, we would have defined adaptability, and we would have given you some application form and interview questions around that. So if you're looking for a skill and you want to understand what it entails, and then you go back to yourself, the experiences you've had, the hobbies that you have, the clubs and societies you belong to, and then have a look at that and see, you know, at any of those sites of experience, did I develop a skill to adapt that makes me adaptable based on the definition that is here? And if indeed you have, you can tick that off and put it on your CV. And then some examples of questions that you may be asked with regard to adaptability in an interview situation. So that's kind of looking at how you can start identifying skills and where you can start looking for some of those skills on the career site. Another great resource is this particular website, prospects.ac.uk. It's incredibly informative. It has rich bits of information. And what's great about this, you can punch in politics, for example. In this particular case, we've chosen what can I do with an English degree? What options, what are my job options with English degree? Then it lists a whole bunch of things that you might consider as a career and what might be open to you and what kind of jobs you could possibly think of applying for. And the skills that you gain through studying English and are remarkably in most sectors of the economy. And so this site is great for that. You might want to put in there an executive MBA, politics. It's just got just about absolutely everything. And what's great about the site, it tells you what the subject is all about, what your job options are, and the skills that you get as a result of the degree that you've qualified in. So when you go into this website, in addition to bookmarking the UCT Careers website, this is one that I would also recommend that you bookmark. If you look, for example, for mathematics, the skills for your CV, if you have a degree in mathematics, all listed, and they do this for a host of subjects. So you can think of any subject, you can plug it in, and it will tell you the kind of skills that you can put on your CV, that you can claim, and you can check it. And then they give you some general skills that you might have developed and that employers expect. And when you look at those, look again at all the experiences that you've had, see where you might have developed these skills that you might actually not have recognized or realized at all. So we dealt with the skills part of it. Can I check if there are any questions around the skills part? My invitation is really to go to the Career Services website here, careers.uct.ac.za. It is so rich in information and so rich with resources. I was just chatting to a student this morning and it was like, wow, do people know this? And I'm going to tell all my mates on Instagram. So the invitation is, please do tell all your mates on Instagram. I loved his enthusiasm. So if there are no questions around the skills, we're going to talk about options with your degree. And if you have a look at the drop-down list, and you'll see there, okay, I blanked it out a bit with the squiggly line I made, options with my degree. So I'll just take you through what the pages would look like and what you could do with your subject that you have majored in or not majored, you know, second, whatever subject that might be that you're interested in researching. And then we can also talk about what do grads do. And so just kind of navigate you through what the pages look like and the information you might find on those pages. So you go onto the website, you look at, you click on options with my degree, and you will see that each of the faculties come up. So if you are doing something in humanities, you might click on the humanities section, and what will come up, or I think in this case we use biology. So you choose, I guess, sciences, and what will surface in the next page would be all the professional bodies and associations that you could consider belonging to or tapping into for opportunities to find work. So professional bodies and associations that you could scan through. I want to say, also to add to this, there's also a section around sector information, what's happening in the sector that you're interested in. There's information on how to prepare for the job market, which is a wonderful resource on what are the kind of job portals that you can apply to or become, I guess, register on, so that you can create job alerts for yourself. So that forms such an integral part of options with your degree in your quest to search for jobs. I'm going to now look at what jobs do graduates do. We have some, if you click on the line that says the line that says what jobs do grads do, if you go onto that site, it takes you to UCT, a link to UCT graduates and LinkedIn. This is and answers the question that we often get asked as careers advisors around who can I talk to who's done something similar, and our response is always, you know, you belong to this great institution with a worldwide repository of alumni that you can get on LinkedIn. And the invitation is always to say, for example, if you're a mathematician and you want to find out who are the UCT mathematician graduates who are on LinkedIn, you can click onto it and you can see the host of jobs that they careers that they are embarking on, and that you can contact them to find out what it is that they're doing, how did they get there, anything you might care to ask them if they accept your invitation. We also have, I'm wondering if it's in the next slide. No, not in the next slide. We have a graduate gallery on the UCT web career site. I might take you at the end of the session just to show you what that looks like, and it's for this reason. Where it explains, it explains someone might have an actuarial degree, but they end up, I guess, in drama or arts or theatre work, and just how they have depicted their journey to where they are to illustrate the idea that your qualification it does not equal your degree, and the wonderful twists and turns that the decisions they've made along the way to get them where they are. So this, the next page, we at the beginning I said we're going to look at the various sites. This is the site where you go into My Career and you have to use your credentials. So if you go into My Career and you've registered, you would have to insert your credentials, and the place that you inserted would be on the right-hand side, top right-hand side of the page, where it says Ingrid van der Merwe. Your name will come up and you have to register, and you will land on this page where you're searching for a job, and then you would insert the keywords executive roles with an MBA degree, and you might want to work in Cape Town, and what that will then do, it will surface a whole host of jobs that you may be interested in applying for. And so this is where you start looking for actual opportunities and a space where organizations have come to the university, they've registered as employers, and where they post all their vacancies. And what you can do with this site, which is really, really great, is that you can create job alerts for yourself. And so if you're in the job market and you want to look for a job, you can, again, this is the site that I'd say bookmark. And what's also great here, you can also bookmark jobs that you can go back to later. An example, if you look at the requirements that a job might say, you need a bachelor's degree, exceptional writing and research skills, strong media relation skills, excellent team player with a positive collegial focus, strong organization and time management skills, demonstrates an energy and desire to provide exceptional client service. And the reminder here again is to, you may think that you don't possess any of these skills. The reminder is really to, again, look over all the sites where you might have had experiences and start reviewing each of those experiences that you might have had to see if you did possess any of these skills. I want to move on then to the Vula site, which is the second option, sorry, in the sites that we've mentioned. So this is the Vula site, which I'm sure all of you are aware of, either through orientation currently or at some point have had interaction with it. So when you go onto the site, most of our resources are housed on the site, and so you will find it under career service. You see the squiggle over there. If you click on that, you'll find a drop down of all of the services, the same that you would find on the careers website. You would find here, oops, sorry. You'll find in the drop down list here, and you'll see finding work. And you click on that and you can find information about work.
Pardon me, ma'am.
Yes.
The career service tab in Vula does not appear for all of us. How do we get that to appear? If I missed, I'm sorry if you did answer that question, but I must have missed it.
The career services site does not appear for everybody on Vula?
No, it does not.
Okay.
As you were speaking, I logged on just to double check, and it's not there for me.
Can I try, Safia?
Yes, please.
Is this Keith?
Yes, it is.
So everyone should have that tab. Now, can you try click on the tiles? You see at the top of Safia's slide where it's written view site as. On the right of that, I think there's what looks like tiles.
Is it like a grid of like 9 blocks?
Yeah, just click on there and see if anything appears.
Let's see.
Yeah, there.
No.
Does it not appear there?
Definitely.
Because I know I'm also part of certain groups and they don't automatically sit the way you're seeing what Safia is showing you with the PPDP and career service. There's something I think you need to press. But what I'll do is I'll just double check from our office to find that out. Okay, because you're not the first person to say this, but it's meant to be there.
All right.
Thank you, Azola. I appreciate that.
Thanks, Safia.
Also, I'd like to know how do I access the recording of this meeting? Because it seems like you're only able to access the recordings if you're part of like a team, and like if you understand, like on Microsoft Teams, if you would like to go back and watch something that was recorded, you would require to be in like a team. For example, like for instance, I'm in a team called Leo Marquard Hall 2021, and that's the only tab that I have. I can see all the recorded meetings that we've had, like the talks and whatnot. But as for these recordings, I cannot because I don't know.
I'm going to try and answer it, and then Azola, if you can just add anything that I might have missed. So my understanding is that if you've attended the session and we've recorded it, once the session's over, you can go back and view the recording. If you might have registered and you didn't attend, then you're not likely to be able to access the recording. But we have plans in place in future where we are likely distribute the links to everybody who's registered for the course, even although you've not attended. So I don't know if your case, you might be one of those cases where you registered and didn't attend, but still wanted to watch the recording.
Registered and did not. I think I see it. If this is hopefully the one. I'll try and figure it out, and I'll raise another question if I still cannot find it.
Okay, fantastic. Any other questions?
Yes. Sorry, my name is Simba. So if we can't access the Vula site, sorry, what was the suggestion? Do we send an email to someone, or what do we do? The career services Vula site.
You can, if you go onto Career Hub, you can send us an email and just say you can't access it via Vula site. Absolutely.
All right, I'll do that.
Does that answer your question?
Yes, it does. Thank you.
Okay, great.
Can I also just add, Safia?
Mm-hmm.
So the resources we've placed on Vula are also on our website. They're also on My Career if you click on resources. It's obviously really nice if you guys use the Vula, because then we also get a sense of our stats, who's using which resources and which resources we need to beef up, just to get a sense of what we need to make more of, because more students are using this and that. Okay, so it's not a train smash, it's not an immediate train smash if you are unable to access our resources on Vula, because we've got a replica on our website and on My Career. But I will speak to those responsible for the site to get a sense of why are some people not seeing the content. Thanks, Safia.
Thank you, Azola. Just a reminder that on our website also, if you're interested in the skills section, there is a section on the skills, an episode on skills in a video format that you could watch, or there's a PDF format that you could read through the notes if you're so interested, or download them if you are interested as well. I've mentioned earlier that we run a host of webinars like this, but you can also participate in career services events like career conversations to find out about career options and what kind of skills various, I guess, industries and sectors and expertise like jobs require. Oftentimes we host career conversations for specialist areas. I cannot think of one off the top of my head right now, but we might host conversations around the tech industry and everything related to the tech industry. And we have a number of employees who come and talk about what the tech industry is all about, around, I guess, computer science and information technology. And it's a great space to start networking with people, identifying possible contacts and opportunities for jobs, and get information about skills. You can conduct informational interviews if you want to find out about jobs. Oftentimes we get requests about, I'm not sure what it is I want to do, I can't choose between one or the other. A great way to find out what the job really entails is to conduct informational interviews with people in those particular jobs. Search LinkedIn for people with your degree. It is such a wonderful, again, a repository of resource LinkedIn. You can just about type anything and to look for about anything that you might be interested in, and you'll find someone with a connection to UCT that you can connect with, that can either give you information about the job, or in their network might know about people that in jobs that you are interested in. I forget my point. I wanted to talk about work experience, so I'll come back to that. We've discovered issues around, we discovered the resources, around option with my degree, the graduate gallery, how you can identify skills. I'm just going to show you the page about how to chat to a careers advisor, how to make a booking, and how to use the career services guide, or the career services guide. So if I can just go to the next page. If you wanted to make an appointment, and we invite you to do so, because then you would have one-on-one conversation. You can ask all the questions that you like. You can get certainty, you can get clarity on a whole bunch of things. You can go onto the website, the Career Service website, click on appointments, and you can make an appointment to see us. We post appointments that are available, and you can click on it, and you can then one of us will come back to you. If you can't find an appointment, you can just send us an email that says, and you need to speak to us urgently. You can send an email that says, hey, there are no appointments available, but I really need to speak to you urgently. We oftentimes get requests for those urgent meetings when people are preparing for an interview and they wanted some help with that. I also want to alert your attention to your career guide. So if you go back to your career guide, again, it has information, up-to-date information about anything that might affect your career, ranging from things that are topical around what are the hot skills right now, things around what the different industries are doing that might interest you, where you might be looking at, what to do in case you get a job offer. I can't think of additional ones off the top of my head without actually going to the careers page. Again, it's a great resource. Take some time to page through it. I often say to students, set some time on a day that suits you, maybe 5-10 minutes, just to page through to see what's there, so that when you think of something, it will trigger your memory. We have all these wonderful resources available at your fingertips, I guess literally. And that with the career guide, you'll find again, if you have a look at the ribbon at the top of the Career Services website on the right-hand side, it will be under media publications. It won't be in the drop-down list that we've been referring to throughout this conversation. So do remember that. This is where we hope to find you when we're all back to normal, which is the Urikwaho building on campus. I cannot unfortunately say when that might be, but hopefully soon, where you can find us again if you've seen us there before. I'm going to switch my camera on, back again, stop sharing. To answer any questions that there may be. So, questions? Azola's posted a bunch of stuff in the chat. Please have a look at those and do click on them. She's put information on the virtual channel, the YouTube channel, for virtual one-on-one consultations. She's put the link in there. Kindly put the link in.
Pardon me.
Yes, there is a question.
Yes, it's Keith.
Keith. Hi, Keith.
I'm currently studying organizational psychology. That's my one of my majors, but I'm majoring in organizational psychology and industrial sociology. I'm quite skeptical about, well, I'm unsure of a few things. Well, what I understand is that in order to become a certified organizational psychologist and be registered, you have to go on to do your master's, which is that's fine, and I understand that. But should I not be able to do postgraduate studies? What then does my Bachelor of Social Science with my majors allow me to do? And how can I, what are my career projections? What are some of the things I could go on to do over time? Yeah.
Keith, those are wonderful questions. And my invitation to you is to make a booking with us for a one-on-one conversation. And we will take you through a process of answering those questions. If you're okay with that response, then that's what I would advise you to do.
That is perfectly fine. Thank you very much.
Great. So we look forward to chatting to you, either myself or Azola or my colleague, Megan.
Appreciate it.
Okay. Someone's asked for the prospect site, and Azola's posted it, so great, fantastic. Again, next to the UCT career site, it's a site that I would, a website that I would urge you to bookmark.
Sorry, I have a question.
Yes, Simba.
Okay, so what if you're of international student and you did your undergraduate in your country, and then now you're doing your master's here at the UCT? In terms of finding employment, do I still have to get my undergraduate degree SAQA certified? Or now that I have a master's here in South Africa, they'll just look at my master's? What happens then?
My experience is that to be able to work in South Africa post your graduation, whilst you're studying, you'd be able to, you would be allowed to work in South Africa for a limited period whilst you are studying. If you're seeking full-time employment, you are going to need a visa for full-time employment. Part of that visa process would require you to get all of your qualifications SAQA approved.
All right, thank you.
So that would be part of the visa requirements from the Department of Home Affairs.
Okay, so now the undergraduate degree has to be certified as well.
Yes, that is part of the visa requirements. All of your qualifications would have to be certified.
All right, thank you.
So again, I would recommend that you just check on the Department of Home Affairs' website. Things change all the time. My information might be out of date. I'm just speaking from someone who's working in the corporate world, where we've had to seek, employ people who had to seek skills visas, and that's the process they went through. But do check again with the Department of Home Affairs if anything might have changed. It might have, yeah, I stand under correction, but that's what my experience has been.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions?
Can I just add, Safia, whilst they're still thinking of the upcoming questions, not to this answer in particular, just to sort of emphasize that the point of this webinar is for you to understand the importance of skills. People hire you based on the skills that you have to offer. And there's what we call transferable skills, of which I think Safia mentioned. So it always helps to get a sense of what skills are you getting from your course, so that you know if you need to be taking extra courses, what those would be. It's also important to understand what skills your industry is currently seeking. So I advise students to go on LinkedIn to get a sense of what is it that people who did my degree are doing. And that is just literally one of the things that you can do, because you want to get a sense of these transferable skills that I have, where else can I potentially use them? And then I say, okay, now you're not sure what it is that you want to be. Why don't you search for jobs? Jobs that you potentially want now, jobs you potentially want in a year or two, because then you can get a sense of how it is that you're going to prepare for those. What are the requirements in this job advert? What are the skills that are outlined? And then you try to prepare yourself for those opportunities. Another nice thing about LinkedIn is as you're searching for people who maybe studied what it is that you're studying, you get to get a sense of what job roles are out there. I think what becomes a hindrance for some students is you want to search for jobs, but you don't know what the titles are called, because we grew up being told about doctors, lawyers, and and now new things are popping up. So for you to be sort of future ready, or next year, next 2 years ready, you need to actively look for work as if you already have your degree, because you want to get a sense of what is out there and what are people looking for. And this also sometimes gives you insight on what qualifications are being sought after. So I'm considering this master's, and then the job you actually wants a postgrad diploma in project management. So that might help you also decide what kind of postgrad to look for. So the importance of this webinar is you got to get a sense of how it is that you can find out what skills you have, what areas you can develop your skills, so that you can understand that in a time, even when we look at COVID, people were retrenched, people had to be moved around, other people's skills had to be used in departments they never thought they'd work in. So be that person who has so many skills that you can actually be flexible. So working in a career path you never planned for isn't a bad thing. It just means that you've diversified yourself enough to be able to move from this place to this place and to build on. So I just wanted to sort of emphasize that for you, that carving out your future is literally in your hands based on how you develop skills and where. Okay, thank you for that platform, Safia.
You are very welcome, Azola. And thank you for amplifying it. There is a question here from Hendrik which says, are Asvir and Kebakasi in a satellite office of yours at GSB? Just curious.
I'll take that, Safia. So yes, so they specifically deal with students that are registered at GSB. So we deal with the other students that are on our campus, and then those are 2 colleagues that specifically deal with GSB colleagues.
Thank you.
Students, yes, thanks.
I'm just checking the chat box. I'm going in and out of the screen to see if there's anything. I can't see anything else. Can I